Throughout all of comic book history, there's one character who seems to stand above them all when it comes to having the most memorable villains, and that man is Batman. Hey everybody, I'm Josh Busker, and today we're going to be counting down through the top 10 most powerful villains who lost to Batman. And no, I did not just fill out a list with 10 different evil versions of Superman, although I was very tempted to. So, you're welcome. Coming in at number 10, we have the head of the demon, aka Ra's al Ghul. The leader of a criminal organization known as the League of Assassins, Ra's al Ghul is over 600 years old and dedicated to wiping out most of humanity in an effort to cleanse the planet of disease and pollution. The secret to his long life and the reason he earns a spot on this list is his mastery of the Lazarus Pits, mythical locations connected to ley lines that are capable of resurrecting the recently deceased and have kept Ra's al Ghul essentially immortal for over half a millennium. Combine that with the endless resources and followers that Ra's al Ghul has gained over the years, and you have quite the formidable villain. At number 9, we have Bane, the man who broke the bat. A brilliant warrior who was raised from childhood inside an island prison, Bane's most notable act was when he systematically weakened Batman's support system and eventually faced and bested him in single combat, shattering Bruce Wayne's spine over his knee. This victory over the Dark Knight was only temporary, but has still given Bane an intimidating reputation that he more than lives up to, going on to become a supervillain crime boss and always looking forward to another rematch where perhaps he can break more than just Batman's spine. Coming in at number 8, we've got to go with the super assassin Deathstroke. While in recent years the infamous Slade Wilson has become more well known for tormenting the Teen Titans, Deathstroke has also had many run-ins with the Justice League and the Dark Knight himself. With his brain operating at 9 times the efficiency of a normal human being, Deathstroke is exactly the type of opponent that pushes Batman to his physical limits with a complete mastery of every weapon at his disposal. Combine that with his icon suit, which has been shown to even be able to withstand a punch from Superman, and this is a foe that Batman is always just barely able to outwit. Coming in at number 7, we have the Predator, and no, I can assure you, you didn't accidentally switch over to an 80s movie themed YouTube channel. In a crossover event during the 90s, Gotham City found itself being used as the hunting ground by a member of the Predator race. Seeking out impressive warriors to fight, the Predator nearly started a civil war amongst Gotham's criminal underworld by killing some of the gangsters' best fighters, and even managing to put an intervening Batman into a full-body cast. Batman soon recovered, however, and was able to defeat the Predator and convince his race to leave Gotham alone by using a high-tech suit capable of seeing through the Predator's cloaking. Aliens being defeated by sonar-powered bat gadgets? Don't you just love comic books? Coming in at number 6, we've got to go with Clayface. When you're facing off against the world's greatest detective, being able to disguise yourself as anyone seems like a very useful skill to have. This alone would make Clayface a difficult foe for Batman to overcome, but combine that with the huge amounts of physical strength that Clayface possesses when he changes into his more monstrous form, and you have a rare mix of stealth and strength that keeps Bruce Wayne on his toes, usually forcing him to rely on a creative use of water to finally stop Clayface in his very muddy tracks. At number 5, we've got a literal god of the Greek pantheon with Ares, the god of war. In an alternate universe in which Ares declared war against the entirety of existence, Batman stood with the rest of the Justice League in a battle that literally lasted for eons, until the sole combatants left in the entire universe were Ares and Batman, still standing through sheer willpower alone. After landing a blow that knocked Ares' magical helmet off, Batman was forced to put the helmet on to finally defeat and decapitate the god of war, leaving him the only survivor of this burned out universe. And while this version of Bruce Wayne would go on to become the Merciless, a bat-themed god of war from the dark multiverse, it still goes to show that the Batman is capable of taking down literal gods. Speaking of literal gods, we've got someone that's weirdly close enough with the infamous Bat-Mite coming in at number 4. A troublesome imp from the same 5th dimension as the Superman villain Mr. Mxyzptlk, The Bat-Mite is honestly more of a nuisance than a flat-out supervillain, often appearing just to try and challenge Batman or to see more of his heroic acts. Sending Bat-Mite back to his own dimension is usually a tall order, given his complete reality-warping powers, but luckily, the world's greatest detective is usually smart enough to outwit Bat-Mite and send him packing to where he truly belongs. Coming in at number 3, we've got Poison Ivy, one of the villains most associated with Batman, but who may have been hiding her power levels just a little bit. Poison Ivy has always been dead set on protecting the green plant life of the Earth, and especially values it over human life. In a particularly noteworthy case, Poison Ivy was able to mind control essentially the entire human population through their consumption of fruits and vegetables. And while that's definitely some weird comic book logic, Batman was only barely able to defeat her by bringing her into contact with the one human being she cares about the most, Harley Quinn. You gotta love when love saves the day. Coming in at number 2, we have the Batman Who Laughs. Now, you obviously can't have a Batman villains list without at least somewhat referencing the Joker, but this wild combination of Bruce Wayne and his greatest foe might just give Mr. J a run for his money when it comes to power. In a dark, alternate world where the Joker realizes he's dying and begins a mass killing spree of everyone in Gotham, Batman is forced to finally kill his fated foe. Unfortunately, at the moment of death, Bruce was infected with a special brand of Joker venom that completely flipped his moral compass, but left intact all of his intelligence and planning. All of the chaos of the Joker with the brains of Batman. This supervillain is Batman's worst nightmare come to life, and has only been able to be defeated with the entire help of the Bat family. And finally, coming in at our top spot, we have one of the biggest bads in the entire DC Omniverse, Darkseid. The leader of Apocalypse and one of the more feared villains that the Justice League has ever faced, Darkseid is known to even be capable of defeating the usually unstoppable Superman in direct combat. You would think that a normal human being with no superhuman abilities would be completely ineffective against an evil god like Darkseid. However, during the event known as Final Crisis, with the entire fate of the universe at stake, Batman finally broke his no guns rule and fired a bullet of Radion energy into Darkseid's heart, wounding him enough to stop the Final Crisis. And while Batman may have temporarily been believed to be dead due to being hit with Darkseid's Omega beams, it wasn't long before the Dark Knight had returned and proven that even ultimate evil isn't enough to keep him down. So did you enjoy this list? Think there's any supervillains we left out? Be sure to let us know down in the comments below, and if you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit both the like and subscribe buttons. As always, I've been Josh Busker, and I'll see you all next time.